Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our forum today. My name is Hilal Izhar bin Muhammad Azrul Hisham. I will be the moderator for our forum today, and with me we have two panels. The first one is Amer Faris bin Zamri and also Muhammad Fadli Akmal bin Muhammad Faisal. So our topic for today is about technology in education. We are going to discuss about some of the issues and also other things regarding these issues and on how to overcome it and all that. So without further ado, I want to start with the first issue regarding technology, which is the unwillingness of teachers to learn. Because as we know, in Malaysia we have a lot of old teachers or teachers who are from the old age, people who are serving from long time ago, maybe 20 years, 30 years. So these kind of teachers, they are very comfortable with their method, the traditional method, the chalk and talk. So when the curriculum start to develop with more and more technology becoming more common, integration of technology in education, so it is inevitable that technology is going to be integrated into education. So with the current curriculum, we have seen a lot of technologies being included, such as, for example, I can give you is that nowadays textbooks they come with CDs or their own media files that complement the textbook. So as teachers, we all need to know how to use this material that has been provided by the government correctly. Because if we are not using it correctly, then the students will not get the most out of the textbook. So the problem with the teachers who are not willing to adapt to this new technology is that they are actually holding their students back from getting the best education. They prefer the traditional method, even if we give them all the technologies they need, like the LCD projector or computer lab and all that. They are still not willing to do it because they prefer the old way. They prefer to write on the whiteboard. They read from the textbook and all that. They don't use the technology to make their work easier, and this cause problem where students they don't get the most out of the textbooks because the Ministry of the Education have created a curriculum based on the textbooks. Everything is in the textbooks, and the media that is provided will complement the textbook. So if we are not using the media part of the textbooks, then the student will not get the most out of it. There will be gap between students from different teachers because some, let's say, for example, a school have two English teachers that teach the same year. One teacher use uh, the technology, the media part of the textbook, and the other don't use it. They prefer the traditional method. So we can see the differences in the students of these two teachers. Maybe the traditional teacher, students they don't understand the textbook as much as those that learn with the media because the media actually give more input. They complement the textbook better. So yeah, this is one of the issues that I think is very prominent in our country nowadays because a lot of teachers they are not willing to learn even though it is very clear that this kind of thing is inevitable. They need to learn at some point, but because of maybe their pride or something, they don't want to learn on how to use the technology better for even for the students' betterment. So that's the first issue. What do you think, Amel? What else do you think is the issue in our current education?
Okay, thank you, Hilal, for the brief explanation about the issue that you think that the teachers nowadays face when uh, in implementing the curriculum nowadays. So I do agree with your statement, which is about the issues related to technological innovation. And I would also like to add my own opinion regarding the challenges of that the teachers nowadays face in implementing curriculum, which is related to the issue of um, access of education for the students. As you can see nowadays that when we are talking about access of education, what we can understand is all the students they get the equal opportunity to access and they can include themselves for to learn, uh, regardless of their gender, regardless of their social background, regardless of their religion and their races. Okay, so it is important for every children to get equal access to education, because uh, by having equal access to education, all these children have equal rights for them to gain knowledge, and at the same time they are able to uh, help, or maybe they can change their future by having that knowledge. So one of the issues that I can see from this uh, access of education is about the shortage of trained teachers, which is nowadays not every teacher is well trained or they are qualified to teach the children in school, because there are some teachers that they are called as contract teachers, which they are from someone who just uh, take the contract as a teacher, but they did not get the correct or the proper training in teaching the children. So there are cases where some people they do not know on what they should do for their job, especially for the contract teachers, and in the end, they just simply just teach the children without uh, having to know what are the children's need. So uh, because of as we know nowadays that we have there are lack of teachers, because and some school will just accept these untrained teachers because they have lack of teachers in the school. And however, teachers like this are not well trained in the institute, and which will result to the children are not receiving a proper education that includes learning basic skills like they can't read, they don't know how to, the teacher don't know how to teach the student the correct way on how to read, how to write, and they don't know how to calculate, and so many more other important aspect in education that uh, usually the trained teacher know, but this type of untrained teacher they don't know. And moreover, the teacher might like the knowledge and also the technological skills too. And as the teacher, we do not simply implement the technology as a trained teacher. They do not just put the just implement the technology innovation in the classroom, because we know as a trained teacher, we need to know the students level, we need to know the differences between the students style, their learning style, so that when we are implementing uh, the technological innovation in the classroom, we need to know this type of factors before we implement it. So by having a different style and in this 21st century learning, all teachers in school are encouraged to make full use of technological advancements, such as by using smart boards, using Google Classroom, using YouTube, and also digital textbooks, and many more. So this is because technology in education creates a more engaging learning for the pupils, because uh, pupils usually they enjoy and they engage more when we are implementing technology in the education. And although teachers are digitally, although there are some teachers that are digitally literate, they tend to merely include the technology in their lesson without they find any benefits to the children. Um, for example, there are some English teacher that want, for example, there are English teacher that want to teach, uh, like they want to teach about animals, but they use the technology. They use the technology to teach about something else. Maybe they use they want to teach animal, but they use a video about a house. So it is not being beneficial to the students, as they can't relate to the what they are actually learning. So this clearly shows that teachers is not well trained and to make full use of the technological innovations. and in the curriculum implementation. So on the other hand, if the teachers themselves are digitally illiterate and not well trained, how should they can integrate the technology in the lesson? But that the people in school will have they lack the opportunities for them to have the full access of learning by using the technological innovations, and because they face many type of problems due to the untrained teachers. So that's all from me for the issue. I would like to give it to Hila.
Okay, thank you, Ame, for that very well detailed explanation on the issues surrounding technology. What about you, Fadli? What else do you think is some of the issues surrounding technology that we can see nowadays?
Okay, okay. Thank you, Hilal Izhar, for the question. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Amer Faris, for your very for your very well elaborated explanation regarding your issue about untrained teachers in when it comes to when it comes to implement new curriculum or basically new innovation in the school. So I would like to uh, make a correlation with my issue, with your issue, which is about literacy issue. So as we all know, literacy focuses on the pupils' ability to write and read. So without these abilities, the pupils will eventually struggle in many situations in school. Hence, it will affect their future as a global generation. They will not be able to secure a job, and this will affect the economy and lifestyle in the future. So it is important to know that there are still pupils out there that who are illiterate, and this will affect their self-esteem as well, and motivation to learn and ultimately attend the classes. So if they feel like they don't have the ability to speak, to read, and to write in English, they will feel like they are left behind, and therefore they will not be confident and eventually give up in their education. So um, what I would like to talk about is the main issue which is the lack of economic awareness. Okay, during my back based on my experience as a teacher trainee when I was in my first practicum in Escape Hulu Saleh, which is in a suburban area, I found that it's very difficult to help the people in reading well as and write because when it comes to phonics, because they this is due to my lack of preparation to teach phonemic awareness as well. So I can relate with Amir's point, which is untrained teachers, because untrained teachers, they don't have the ability to recognize the problems that occur in the classrooms. Therefore, they need to take time before they can eventually come up with their own solution to fix the problems in the classrooms, which is in this case phonemic awareness. So the reason I say this is that during my training, I always find that courses like linguistics and phonetics as killer subjects because they are required to be be studied first before I can teach. Therefore, my readiness to teach at that moment depends on my ability to understand of the subject. So other than that, there are also questions that some pupils they are taught by their parents or early during their early childhood development. Their teachers taught them to read and write by using syllables and not using phonics. Therefore, they only understand how to read based on the teachers, based on their parents and their teachers' way of naming the sound, not the not in which is not accurate, mostly not accurate. So hence this will lead to the pupils to struggle in learning with the certain approach used by the teachers, especially related to phonemic awareness. For example, phonics instruction approach where the teacher needs to teach reading skills using phonics. Okay, so what I found when I discussed with my colleagues, uh, I found that we all struggle to use this approach to the pupils who already learn reading by syllables. But however, since with the new implementation to the current uh, curriculum, which is CEFR and KSSR aligned in our DSKP. So I can tell that it is way easier for teachers nowadays to come up with their own solution to teach phonemic awareness to the students, to the pupils. So what can I relate this? What can I relate this topic with the current issue that we are talking about, which is technological implementation, which is technological innovation, where the teachers, they can actually use e-flashcards, for example, to teach students, pupils about to like make them be aware of the sounds of the words. Basically, uh, they know how to like critically recognize how the words can can be pronounced. So, for example, since by the use of by the use of e-flashcards, it can help the pupils to learn by looking at the flashcards, and therefore they can actually see the actual sound of the basically the word that they learn. But however, in implementing this technology is quite difficult for all basically veteran teachers, since they are so used with the old ways that they think that their way of teaching is better than the current education system, than the current education implementation, which is using the CFR and KSSR aligned curriculum. But the thing is, they actually have the ability to, but they are reluctant. Basically, they are reluctant to implement the new curriculum system implementation. So what I'm saying that is that this implementation is positive, can be positive towards the pupils as well, but the teachers need time to learn how to use the digital technology in order for them to implement this new approach. So the second issue that I want to highlight is the lack of language skills. So language skills are basically important to be mastered by the pupils, since they are uh, basically because this is very important, since they need the ability to speak as well, and also to write and read. So basically, language skills allow the pupils to grasp the communication skills that will be beneficial in their daily life. So what I'm trying to say here is that teaching English language skills is very challenging because English is not our first language. Therefore, they are so used with their native language, with their mother tongue language. Therefore, their level of proficiency is very low. So, especially in rural areas where they have less exposure and chances to converse in English with their family members and friends. So, unless they are born with educated parents, so these children are very different from pupils who don't have any economic background that they need to be taught about the language itself. So this while these children these privileged children, they have been exposed to digital literacy. Therefore, it is way easier for them to be this is way easier for the teachers to teach them uh, compared to these rural area pupils. So that's all from me, and I would pass it to Hilal Izhar back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fadli, for that very detailed explanation on his issues. So now that we have elaborated on our issues that we think are very prominent in technology in education, now what about we are going? How about we talk about the solution on how we can overcome these issues? So I will start first, and my issues is that the teacher's unwillingness to learn how to use technology in education. So one of the things that obviously I think very obvious on how to tackle this problem is to go to a training, because as we know, we have a very useful program called CPD, which is basically about how teachers in service are required to go to seminars, training in order for them to better their teaching skills. So if these teachers go to these seminars, they can learn on how to utilize the technology, on how to use what all the new things in education, or how to apply it in their classroom. So by going to this training, they will learn how to maybe use the technology, and how to use the shortcuts, how to make it efficient, their lesson more efficient, in order for the students to get more from what they learn. And then other than going to training, they can also go to a seminar on their own. Maybe when they come across a seminar about technology, it is their own initiative to go to the seminar to learn about how to use technology. Because as I mentioned earlier, this problem usually happen to old teachers, people who are very used to teaching the old way, the traditional method, the chalk and talk method. So when, if the teacher have the initiative, they have the realization to change themselves, then they will try to, search for seminars and try to learn it on their own, or even they can even simply ask their colleagues. As I think a lot of teachers, their colleagues are willing to help them if they ask for help. But in order for them to do this, they need to, first of all, the most important part I think is to acknowledge that they are lacking in technology knowledge. Because I think it is very common stereotype in teachers, where teachers are very prideful of themselves because they are the one who is supposed to teach something. So it kind of like bad thing for them not to know something, but it is actually a normal thing, for people or for everyone to not know anything, everything. So teachers also need to acknowledge the fact that they don't know how to use technology, for example, and ask their colleague for help. And I'm sure there are a lot of colleagues that are willing to help them on how to use the technology in the classroom, how to make their lesson more efficient, how to use the media that come with the textbooks and all that. So they need to think that even if they have the pride that they don't want to lose face, they need to think about the students. If they don't learn how to use the technology properly, then the students will have to suffer from it because they are lacking behind compared to their peers. So I think the most important or the most effective way of combating or overcoming the teachers' unwillingness to learn is to acknowledge the fact that they lack the knowledge and the willingness to learn. It is their own initiative. If the teacher themselves don't want to learn, then nobody else can help them. It is their own initiative for them to learn how to use technology for the betterment of their students and also for education in general. So that's the solution that I can think of regarding the issue of unwillingness of teachers to learn about technology. What about you, Amer Faris? What do you think is the solution for your problem?
Okay, thank you, Hilal. So, based from what I've said just now, which is about the access of education for the children, which is the problem is the lack of teachers training uh, in the teachers itself, so that the teacher face is they it is just the same as what you have said, which is mainly is focusing on the teacher's skills and also the teacher's knowledge about how to uh, design the lesson themselves. So, so what can we do is there's no denying that a teacher's contribution is crucial in helping students through the new curriculum existing challenges. Uh, so additionally, one of the responsibilities of the teacher is to participate in the excellent mentorship and the induction program, for example, which is particularly focusing for the new teachers. And the teachers can get the direction they need to make sure that their entry into the classroom is constructive and also have benefits through the induction and also the training programs. And this will make sure the students are able to success because they are able to understand better when they are learning. So, of course, it is also the responsibility of the teachers to always strive for them to make themselves to make themselves better in order for them to apply the curriculum in an efficient way. Since we know that every child has the right to learn and they have the right to have the same quality access to the education. For example, if they are one class get the untrained teacher who is not what just like what Hilal said, they get a teacher who is not willing to learn. The teachers don't want to upgrade themselves, but another class get the teacher who they are eager to learn. They want to improve themselves. So it is considered as the access for the educations in terms of the quality of the education itself between the two classes is very different because the one class will only get the same type of teaching method, which is kind of dull, kind of boring. With another class get an interesting type of lesson, which is the teachers they are able to integrate the technology in the class. They are able to enjoy more. The students are able to enjoy more during the class. So this is important. Why the teachers they should one of the things that the teacher can do is they can participate in the one of the things that usually the teacher do, which is PLC, which is professional learning community with other teachers, so that the teacher can use this as a forum for them to exchange their ideas and they share their best practices between them to support each other in overcoming the difficulties that they face during during the lesson that they so that they can find the solution together and they can implement it in the class to make improvement. From one of the study that I have read, which is from Turner and colleagues, they also provided the evidence in the support of the idea that PLC is a strategy that enables enables the teachers for them to share their ideas, their values, their opinion about what they think about the students, their learning experience, their teaching practices, for them to share with other teachers so that they can improve themselves and at the same time they are able to upgrade themselves in terms of their teaching quality so that every students they are able to get the same access of quality education and no students or no classes that will be left behind. So I think that's all from me. I'll pass it back to Hilal.
Thank you, Amer Faris, for a detailed explanation on how to overcome his problem. What about you, Fadli? What do you think we can do, or how can we overcome the problem that you have stated before?
Okay. Thank you, Hilal Izhar, for your question. So, in terms of literacy, specifically phonemic awareness, I think as a teacher, they need to have enough preparation before teaching. So, instead of getting the materials done, such as the PowerPoint, we need to revise again so that we are able to deliver the lesson in a smooth and understandable way. But based on my experience, I struggle with to teach phonics because we may think that we approach the pupils in a way that can lead them to confusion. So from here, it is important to enhance their knowledge about phonemic awareness by reading more articles. So what can we do as teachers that as stated by Amer, uh, which is joining the PLC, which is Professional Learning Community (PLC), and by joining the community, we can actually get some benefits by we can share our concern about our problems and discuss together and come up with our solution in order to improvise our the issue that we are struggling with. So and by for example like since uh, my students, my basically my pupils, they struggle with phonemic awareness since they were struggling with phonemic awareness. So what happens is that they taught me to use e-flashcards during the practicum during my practicum periods because they told me that by using e-flashcards the pupils will be able to learn the sound of the words by interconnecting with the pictures that they see. So by using that method, I found that it is way easier for me to teach them uh, to, about phonetic. So and also sharing the knowledge doesn't actually make you an inferior teacher, but actually it will strengthen your memory and as well improve your professional behavior about knowledge that you have shared with the rest of the teachers. Next, in terms of language skills, I think teachers should be more creative in encouraging the pupils to speak, write, read, and also to listen more uh, attentively. So, for example, teachers should keep on using. Teachers can keep their method on using traditional methods like drilling, teach grammar. But since with the new era, which with the new implementation, curriculum implementation that requires us to implement technological innovation in the curriculum, it is advisable that teachers should try to use to create their activities based on technological approach, uh, even though they feel like they don't have the ability to do so. They can learn, but it will take time. But in order for them to create a more enjoyable classroom, they can actually incorporate kinesthetic and visual intelligence at once. Like for example, in the class, let's say if the teacher wants to teach them about animals by using animal songs, and by using animal songs, uh, they have to mimic with the animals movements. So by doing so, pupils with kinesthetic intelligence, they will have the ability to learn about the sound of the animals while learning, while also learn how to say the words correctly in the cor- in the in the most accurate way. So other than that, which to cater people's difficulty in mastering language skills, the teachers should think of some motivation booster for the pupils. For example, I think it is more advisable for the teachers nowadays to implement gamification in learning. So in case the schools are struggling, I mean like they don't have the facilities to implement games, online games, like in the computer labs, like they don't have computer labs, or maybe because they are struggling with the finance, with the finance. So what can the teacher do is that maybe they can uh, implement some uh, physical worksheet like crossword puzzle. Okay, by using, for example, reading comprehension, where the pupils should answer true or false questions or yes or no questions. Since they have to adapt the materials a bit by bit by creating a crossword puzzle with the clue from the text that they have with the text that the pupils have read. So basically, they have to guess puzzle, the words that they need to write. So it can uh, it can uh, it can be seen as a new form of learning because they have to learn a new vocabulary. So this is where the teacher should be more creative and innovative. So I understand that this will be challenging for some pupils, but in order for them to learn new things, they have to be exposed to higher order thinking skills, which is HOTS. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to Fadli for explaining very well on how we can overcome the issues regarding technology in education. So with that, I think we can conclude that since the era is getting more and more modern, technology is becoming more common. It is very normal or very rational for all teachers to actually implement technology in the education and for education in our country to make the most out of technology, because as we know technology can help uh, in education a lot. So with that I want to say thank you again to Amer Faris and Fadli Akmal for uh, sharing with us some ideas regarding technology in education, and that's all for our forum today. Thank you.